Good evening. I'd like to call the special call meeting to order today for the town of Winterville. Our invocation today will be coming from Pastor Shondale Jones from Cornelius Christian Center Church. If you could please step to the podium.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for an opportunity to come together as fellow citizens of this great town of Winterville. We thank you for all those who have given their lives to public service. Thank you for the citizens of this community. And I pray that as we meet today and go about the business of this town, that you allow us to do so in wisdom and with knowledge. We thank you for it in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. If we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Face the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out for this special call meeting tonight. Where we're going to be looking at possibly filling our vacancy. Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
I second.
Got a motion by Councilman Johnny Moore, second by Councilwoman Robinson. Any questions? So, all in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay. What we're going to do here before we get into this discussion of this vacancy, what we would like to do is we're going to hear from each candidate.
And I'm sorry, I've got a couple of housekeeping items when you're ready.
Okay. This is for the council. If we could tonight, we're going to take nominations first, and then we will vote on the nominations, okay? All right? Y'all understand? Yeah. Council, y'all got that? No. Yes, ma'am.
You said we're going to take nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to go, you mean, going to do them one at a time, or a group, or what?
This can be one at a time.
Right, so Mayor, if you're ready, I'll go over the housekeeping items.
All right.
Okay. So we have, staff took the liberty of putting the candidates that are interested in order in alphabetical order. So I've got a list here, and what you'll see is the name of the candidate, and then in the original package you received, you'll see the number where you can find their letter of interest. So I'll pass those down. Oh, let me grab one. Sorry.
Okay.
And then we have one that could not be with us this evening, Mr. Wayne Peed, and he has submitted a written letter in place of his comments. So if you could just pass those down. And then every candidate will have up to 3 minutes to speak, and then once they are completed, then council, it's my understanding, King, correct me if I'm wrong, that then the council's open to make nominations?
That's correct. We'll take nominations, and once everybody's had an opportunity to make a nomination, then, Mayor, my recommendation is just go back, and whoever the first nomination was, go back and ask for a vote on that nomination, just work it way down the list.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Everybody understand that? Anybody have any questions on that?
You say what? You say after all the candidates give their presentation, and then we will do the nomination, a slate of names, or the ones that we recommend.
Yes, sir. If a member of the council wants to nominate somebody, then they could nominate that person, and the mayor will give each of the council members an opportunity to make a nomination if they want to, and then once all the nominations are done, the mayor will call for a vote on each nomination.
We only one, or as many you want?
That's a great question. I think under normal circumstances, usually there's one nomination per council member.
Okay.
I mean, that would be my recommendation, that each council member gets one nomination.
You want that in a motion? Or that's the, you just go by your,
That's my recommendation. I think if the mayor wants to have a vote on the procedure, I guess you can, if you feel that would be helpful.
But Keenan, what I'm understanding you to say is that a council member will have an opportunity to make a nomination. Once those nominations close, then the council will vote on each nomination.
Correct.
Right.
please, council, have opportunity to place a name, and then we'll
Correct.
vote upon those. Okay, all right.
Any, Ms. Robinson?
Basically, what you're saying is that we could have up to 4 names, right?
Yes, ma'am. If each council member select, a person, you could have at least 4 names on a slate.
But
on
you
that
don't
slate.
have to,
You
Keenan. It's
don't have
simply-
to, you don't have to, right?
You're not required to nominate anybody, but each council member, this way nominations, of course, work, you have an opportunity to nominate someone. Then after the nominate, there's no motion or a second on that. There's a nomination made by a council member, take the slate of nominations, the mayor will work his way back through and take votes on each.
All right,
Anyone else? Anyone else have any questions? Okay. All right. All hearts and minds ready to roll? All right. Okay. Well, first up to the podium, we have Ms. Brandy Herrera. And she can be found on page 21, council. You can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening to the Honorable Mayor Richard Hines and the Winterville Town Council. I'm Dr. Brandy Harrell. Thank you for this opportunity to stand before you. A slice of the good life. How many of us knew that that was our motto? But exactly what makes life good? I believe to have a good life, a few things are required: liberty, health, housing, employment, and education. As an adolescent reared in the West Greenville community, I wanted to help my community even though I was from a less fortunate background. However, I realized that there were individuals that had it worse than I did without parents to guide them. I felt there was something more that I could do, so I became a volunteer at a summer and after-school program in the West Greenville community, where I would tutor and help serve meals. I'm a wife, mother, and native of Pitt County, as well as a proud resident of Winterville. I'm a behavioral health director at Kinston Community Behavioral Health Center with extensive experience and training in mental health and substance use disorder treatment. I'm an educator and an adjunct professor at East Carolina University. Let's go Pirates. I'm dedicated to the total development of my students. So let's have a brief history lesson. Reflecting on some of the history of the town of Winterville, the town's physician, Dr. Thaddeus Cox and Mr. A.G. Cox worked together closely to make Winterville a great place to live. Their collaborations continue to be an example of how working together towards a common goal will provide positive outcomes for the community. I'm a proponent of whole person care, and I work closely with government officials and the judiciary branch to increase access to rural health and economic development. To the town council, I applaud you all for serving collaboratively to create a more wonderful Winterville. The following would provide residents with a slice of the good life. Number 1, a budget. It is important that our town stays financially sound through financial planning and economic development. I believe a thriving community fosters good growth. Community safety, bridging the gap between law enforcement and the community with purposeful and positive communication. Recovery for the community, bringing awareness and resources for the community and families that are facing these issues. I believe that individuals promote a healthy family and contribute to the community. Lastly, servant leadership in my hometown is important to me. I serve on the board of directors for the Partnerships for Children, United Way, the Town of Winterville Human Relations Board, and the State Employees Credit Union Advisory Board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's your 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Again, that was Dr. Brandy Harrell. Next, we have Ms. Chantel Hawkins. Call her name again. Next, we have Ms. Chantel Hawkins. Okay. So we'll move on to the next person, Devin Johnson. And call his name again, Devin Johnson. Okay. Next up, we'll have Mr. James Godfrey Jones.
Good evening, Town Council, other town officials, and citizens of the town of Winterville. My name is James Godfrey Jones, and I have submitted a letter of interest for the vacant Town Council seat, and I appreciate this opportunity to speak on my behalf for this consideration. First of all, I would like to say thanks to all who currently serve in different capacities for the ongoing efforts and functions that are required to ensure the day-to-day operations within our city continue smoothly and with the best interests of our citizens in mind. My thoughts on service stem from my Christian belief that each of us should help others who are in need. It is my belief that local, state, and federal leaders serve the people whom they represent and have been given a great responsibility to propose, review, debate, and ultimately approve or disapprove actions which affect many aspects of the lives of our citizens. I grew up here, and in 1972, at the age of 19, I went to serve in the U.S. Army as a clerk typist. Upon my return to civilian life, I returned briefly to Winterville before moving to Charlotte in 1977. One of my most rewarding jobs was as a clerk in the Volunteer Services Office of Mecklenburg County Social Services, where one of my duties was to pick up donations from the community and to distribute them to clients who were in need. It is here that I gained a larger viewpoint of the different levels of need that existed in the communities. It also gave me a greater appreciation of life as I knew it growing up in the town of Winterville, which I had never experienced a level of need such as what I experienced upon moving to Charlotte. My dedication to the volunteer services efforts caught the eye of the business manager, who offered me a position as operation clerk in the business office, where I managed inventory control and purchase orders. From there, I applied for and became a caseworker working with AFDC, which is Aid for Dependent Children. And again, I was introduced to the levels of need in the community and how our government programs served as a safety net to ensure the basic needs of food and shelter were provided to our most vulnerable populations of children, the disabled and the elderly. We sold our home in Charlotte in 2017 and moved back to Winterville. And since that time, along with my life and health insurance and real estate broker business activities, I have been instrumental in starting a community garden at the Mount Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, became a member of the Southside Senior Citizens Club of Greenville and surrounding areas, and I'm also their newly elected president as well. I currently serve on the Planning and Zoning Board for the town of Winterville. With all of that said, I would be honored to serve as a Winterville Town Councilman.
I appreciate it. And let me apologize to you. I forgot to mention, he was number 17 in our pamphlet. I do apologize for that. Next up, we have Matt Nelson DeJesus. She's on page 13.
Hello, know I don't have much time, so I'm not going to do all the other stuff. I'm going to talk as fast as I can. I don't usually talk this fast, but I got to get my minutes in. My name is Matt Nelson DeJesus. I'm Joe Nelson's daughter, on the corner. I'm Godfrey Mills' great-grand niece. And his sister Caroline Mills was my great-grand aunt. So my ancestry is deeply rooted in this town. They sold A.G. Cox 75 acres of land. And that depot is, the interior is remodeled from the trees that my great ancestors sowed. And also, I'm gonna get this in before my time run up. I was gonna put this on the end, but I want y'all to know this. Last night, over at the depot, I became the first Afro-American to serve on the Winterville Historical Society. Oh, now that is a blessing. That is a blessing. And so now my ancestors went down in history. Now I'm down in history also. Now, as far as my education, all that stuff, I don't have time to talk about that, but you all read it already. But I have a BS, MS, a 6-year degree. I have an advanced college degree, but that doesn't matter to what I'm applying for. I got to tell you what I'm capable of doing. Now, you remember this letter that we passed out? You see me up there? Look, and the chief is up there. Turn the page. Here I am again. I helped out with the anniversary with Grandma Matt, and I helped over at the museum. Look, did you see this? Did you see this? Winterville book. See, I'm not talking about my education, but let me tell you about the work that I've done. This book here, inside here, look at me. Right here, it says the heart of the community. I've been out there working. Look, you remember this? These calendars? I've been around trying to sell the anniversary calendars for people. I'm telling you what I've done, the work that I've done. Let my work speak for me. Now, I've been out there with the watermelon parade, throwing that candy out to those children. I just love to see their faces. And also in the Halloween festival, I was out there monitoring that little talking witch, and I had so much fun watching those little kids with that. And also, I helped with the membership with the...
Thank you, Ms. Matt.
Wait a minute. I didn't tell you about this.
Thank you. We appreciate you, Ms. Matt. Thank you. Bless your heart. Next up, we have Mr. Wayne Peed.
Mayor, Mr. Peed let us know shortly after the invitation went out that he could not be with us due to a prior engagement.
Okay.
He has submitted a letter, though, for your consideration.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right.
His letter is as follows. Hello, my name is Wayne Peed. I sincerely apologize I am not able to be there in person due to a previously scheduled procedure. Although I'm originally from Kinston, NC, don't hold it against me, haha. I love Winterville and consider it home as I have lived here for about 15 years. I'm currently married to my beautiful wife of 8 years, Caroline, and we have an almost 5-year-old son named Christian. I am very much a family man. I've owned my small business since 1994 called Eastern Theatrical. We sell, rent, and install audio, video, lighting, and streaming systems to businesses, churches, and school systems. My family moved to our current home in the Waterford subdivision about 1.5 years ago. I've met several people employed by the city while making some additions and remodeling our home. Everyone I encountered was so great to work with. This made me want to help serve on boards with some of these great folks for about 1 year now. While living in Kinston, I served on multiple boards and committees. I've always had a passion for serving in that capacity because I loved seeing what we could make of each of them and how we could grow our town. I enjoyed receiving feedback from the other locals about each event or fundraiser. Over the years, I have helped spearhead and raise over $500,000 for a couple of organizations I sat on. I also helped start the downtown Kinston, quote, Sand in the Streets concert series, close quote, bi-weekly concerts in the park. I also worked with a band called Spare Change for 20 years, recently retiring from it. When I first saw the post on Facebook indicating you were looking to fill a seat for town council, I began discussing my interest in it with my wife. This makes me think back to all of the times I've said to myself that I wanted to meet more people with the town and maybe serve my town in some capacity. It would be my honor to serve. What can I bring to the town of Winterville? I believe my ability to problem solve, which I must do every week for my business, and my character of doing what I say I'm going to do are my strongest qualities. I have a willingness to do the necessary research on issues while also considering the voices of my fellow neighbors. I am proud to be a resident of Winterville. I have an eagerness to help further develop this great community. So many people want to live in our community because it has that small town feel, while also having the capacity to further excel in the future. Please consider me as one of your town council members. I can promise you I will make you proud. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Miss Lisa Smith. She's on page 33.
Good evening. Thank you to the council for giving each of us the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I am not privileged enough to be born in Winterville. I have had the privilege of moving here about 30 years ago, but not being from here, I've had the ability to see several different places, and I know what a gem the town of Winterville is. I have the privilege of raising 5 children here. They have all attended our public schools, participated extensively in our recreation and various activities that the town offers, and greatly appreciate that. But I'm here this evening to speak to you as to why I believe I may be the best person for this position. I speak often with members of the community, and I know many of the things that are on our constituents or our residents' minds. People are often concerned with their taxes, their utility bill, public amenities, recreation, facilities for their children, our school systems, and so forth. I am knowledgeable about many of the things that happen in our town. I appreciate the work that's being done. I am excited to know that we have a project that will improve Railroad Street and take care of some of the issues there, including the Noble Canal. I'm excited to see the growth in our community. We have a lot of new areas being developed. We have 11 on Main. We have the new PUD in the Southbrook, I believe it is, that's coming. We have Eli's Ridge. We have a subdivision across the highway. I think it's called Cooper's Creek, perhaps. We have a lot of potential in our community, and I would like to be a part of the planning, the development. I feel like I bring a good bit of knowledge about the workings of our town that would allow our council to kind of continue a forward momentum. I bring knowledge, I bring skills. I am versed in working with a team. I am versed in situational leadership. I am knowledgeable about budgeting, both from career and just experience as a member of this community. I have knowledge of our local schools. I am a 23-year educator with Pitt County Schools, and as I stated, I'm raising 5 children who have attended our local schools. I have good working relationships with principals of several of our schools. We've had the opportunity to work together throughout the years. I feel like a good read of the things that our town needs and what our residents are looking forward to, and I would be excited to be a part of the continued growth in Winterville. This is where I have built my forever home, and I hope to leave it in an even better even better place for my children and potentially grandchildren in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. Alton Wofford, and he's on page 34.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Town Council, Town staff, and all the guests who are here tonight. We appreciate you all being here. My name is Alton Watford, and I've lived in Winterville since 1984. I moved here after graduating from Pitt Community College and immediately decided that this was the place I wanted to live. I wanted to raise my children here and be part of this great community. I was later employed by Pitt Community College and actually just retired from there last year with nearly 33 years of service. While at Pitt Community College, I served in many different roles. I decided to continue my education in addition to PCC. I received my undergraduate degree from Barton College and did my master's work at East Carolina University. I'm actually now back with PCC part-time, working with them doing some recruiting, including bringing in new students, helping them find their way with their careers, and also at the same time encouraging them to stay here in our community. As part of the community, I've served as a volunteer for the Winterville Watermelon Festival for 20 years, taking on many leadership positions along the way with them, including that of the festival chairman for many years. I've also served with the Winterville Redmen, the Winterville Chamber of Commerce, and with the Chamber, I served in various leadership roles there, consisting of board member, president, I think for 3 terms, and then currently as chairman of the board. In this position, I found it to be very important that I've learned more about the businesses and the business leaders of Winterville and how they contribute to our local economy. They help make this community that we live in very, very strong. Another position that I currently hold, that I hold very near and dear to my heart, is that of board chair of the Winterville Human Relations Board. This board was put together to help ensure equity and inclusion for all citizens of Winterville. Helping others always has been and always will be who I am, and I feel that these volunteer activities that I've been involved in throughout the years have helped to prepare me for the next level of service to our community. Please know, I've given this a great deal of consideration. I've thought about this for several years now, but I do not take this position or this responsibility lightly at all. I would not just represent the people on my block or the people who have the same ideas that I have, but I would work very hard to make sure that I was serving all citizens of Winterville. I know that you have many good qualified applicants tonight here, but I would greatly appreciate your consideration when making your decision. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I would be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And I see that we had Mr. Devin Johnson. Is it Devin? Okay. Would you like to speak? All right, you got 3 minutes. And Devin is on page 1.
Well, good evening all. Like you said, I'm Devin Johnson. I was not prepared to speak today, but I submitted my interest in this vacancy last month. A little bit about me: I'm not from Winterville. I'm originally from Ohio. I came to Winterville via the Marine Corps. I guess you could say that's where I started my interest in public service. I did 5 years in the Marine Corps. I did a tour in Afghanistan in 2011. And after that, I came to Pitt County. Originally started with 911 communications. Again, this all kind of started with my interest in serving the public. Did that for about 1.5 years, most recently in financial services. And I just enjoy it. I enjoy helping people, and I enjoy reaching out to the community. Some of these folks, a little more seasoned, their resumes are a lot more impressive. But what I give to the town council would be a little bit of youth, and a little bit of different perspective in terms of the citizens' interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay, so let me make sure that did no one else come in, and that would be Ms. Chantel Hawkins. Making sure. So Ms. Hawkins did not show up, okay? All right. With that being said, open the floor for nominations.
I just got a question first.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold 1 second.
The question is, with the candidate, the slates of names that we submit, once they are voted upon, if I vote upon one and it fails, and then the next one comes up, do I have opportunity to vote upon again?
Yes.
Yes, sir, you do.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I'd like to
Mr.
place a
Moore.
nomination, Lisa Smith.
Okay.
Second.
Ms. Robinson?
Mr. Robinson.
First, I want to say that it is very, very difficult to choose somebody because every one of the people that shown an interest are very qualified and they're working with, most of them are already in positions with boards here in Winterville. And I wrestle with that. I'd like to nominate Brandy Harrell for the vacancy.
All right. Or do you have any nominations?
I nominate, I'm seconding Tony with Lisa Smith.
Mr. Moy?
Aunt Chantel Hawkins. Even though she's not here, I still like to continue with the process that we do have already in place that we talked about in our last meeting. And I don't know whether or not she will accept if she is voted in, but yet still, I still will submit her name.
Okay. So we have 3 candidates, correct?
Yes.
You have 3 nominations, yes, sir.
Yeah, 3 nominations. 3 nominations, 3 candidates. So with that, is there any more nominations before I close the nomination? Anybody else? Okay, with that being said, the nominations are now closed. Okay, so do we go in reverse order? Do we go in?
I think it's your call, Mayor.
Okay.
Typically what people do is take it into order of the nominations that were given.
Okay, all right, we can do that, follow that process. All right, first up is Miss Lisa Smith. All in favor of voting for Miss Lisa Smith, raise their right hand. All right. Next up is Brandy Harrell, right? That's right. All in favor of voting for Miss Brandy Harrell, raise their right hand. Next up is Miss Chantel Hawkins. All in favor of voting for Miss Hawkins, raise their right hand. All right.
Okay, so that's my problem right there. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. You got the floor right now.
With the nomination that was placed on the slates, and everyone going to vote upon the one that they vote upon, do we narrow it down? Or do we go with the most votes at that time?
If there was a tie vote, then the mayor would vote to break the tie. The way it's voted tonight, we have no tie. We've got 4 people to vote, and with the one with 2 votes and the other 2 with 1. So in my opinion, that is that we don't have a tie. There's nothing for the mayor. The mayor's not required to vote. Right. So then the majority vote getter is the one that got 2 votes.
Well, then, by Ms. Hawkins is not here tonight, could I take my name out?
I don't think once you voted is that you can remove your vote.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I was,
I do not think that we had a clear understanding of the voting process. It was said, each one of you will get a chance to vote on each nomination. And,
Well, and of course, you did, as they went through, the ones that were nominated, everybody got a chance to vote.
but I don't think that that was very clear, an understanding for everybody on the board.
I believe that I'm honored to accept Lisa Smith in our meeting as the winner tonight. So the vote's been taken. She's the winner.
I don't think that was, I have no problems with the choice at all. Want to make that very clear. But I don't think the process was explained clearly that you would only get to vote for one person.
Well,
It was said that you get to vote for each one that is nominated. And we had three people nominated, and that's where we got into misunderstanding. And if you can't, you need to try to understand, it's a difference. You can vote for each nominee than it is to vote for the nominee of your choice, which is what most of us would have understood. But I will abide by the decision.
Attorney, how do you see,
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry if the process wasn't understood. Typically the way nominations work is everybody gets a chance to nominate if they so desire. They don't have to nominate. And so if they do nominate, and then quite frankly, you're not required to vote for the person you nominate. You can nominate and not vote. Most people do vote for the person they nominate. That makes sense, but
Right.
don't have to. It would be my recommendation that as the votes played out, we had one with two, as I said a moment ago, one with two and the others with one. If there was 2 and 2, then we would, of course, look to the mayor to break that tie.
all right. With that being said, we are going to move on, and we will welcome Ms. Lisa Smith to the council.
Make a motion that we adjourn until 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, all right.
Okay.
Second motion.
All right, have a motion on the floor to adjourn to 6 o'clock. A motion made by Councilman Tony Smith, second by,
Tony Moore?
damn. Councilman Tony Moore, seconded by Councilman Paul Rice. All in favor, vote by saying aye. All opposed.
Mayor, members of the board, before you get up real quick, and I know we're out of the meeting, staff's got some housekeeping things to switch over for
Okay.
6 o'clock. We're going to try to be done by then, but please bear with us.